meant for prayers and celebrations. Churches sometimes reveal sights no one expects. Ominous figures, terrifying encounters, and moments so disturbing they stay with you. In today's video, we'll see some of the most unsettling church moments you'll wish were fake.
Oh my God!
You won't believe what just happened in the church. During an exorcism, the force inside the woman went far beyond simple resistance. As the priest continued praying, whatever had taken hold of her seized complete control. Her body moved in ways no human strength could explain, dragging itself toward the church wall. In front of stunned witnesses, she was lifted and placed directly above the cross, as if making a statement. But before she could seriously hurt herself or anyone nearby, those present managed to restrain her and bring the situation under control. The woman was later reported to be safe and recovering, though many who were there say they will never forget what they saw inside that church. Mocking spirit. A chilling church recording just surfaced online, and people can't stop talking about it. Inside, a priest was speaking calmly to a possessed girl, asking the entity to reveal itself. At first, nothing happened, but then the presence began mocking him, testing his control.
So we left the curse. We left the curse. We left the curse.
We lit the gates.
Fire and death.
We lit your death.
The priest quietly placed the holy book near her, and the reaction was sudden. The entity faltered, its grip weakening, and the girl's body slowly went calm, no longer fighting the prayers. The ritual was finally brought under control, and she was later rescued. But even with her release, the entire session remained deeply scary for whoever watches it. Living eyes. An old video resurfaced online and immediately caught attention. Inside a small chapel, a visitor was recording a quiet prayer service, capturing the stillness of the room. Everything looked normal at first. People praying, candles flickering, nothing unusual. But then, the camera slowly focused on a statue of the Virgin Mary, and the impossible happened. The statue's eyelids moved. Slowly, deliberately, the eyes opened and stared straight into the camera. They stayed open for a few seconds before gently closing again. The visitor was speechless, unsure if what he saw was real. For him, that brief moment was enough to suggest that spirits might be present in the statues. While to the netizen, it was Virgin Mary who was there to answer the prayers. Airlift. A man was filming his usual church prayer when something terrifying happened. The friend who came with him began acting strangely, then suddenly rose several feet into the air near the priest. There were no wires, no wind, nothing to explain it.
Southeast right now. Please
and the same God who opened the Red Sea, the doors today.
Everyone froze in shock as the man quickly hid behind a pew, and the video cut off, capturing him whispering, "Not today."
No, I'm out. Not today.
It later seemed he already suspected something was wrong. He had brought her to the church for help, believing she was under a dark influence. Thankfully, the priest was able to calm the situation, and she was brought down safely. Hidden nun. It was a normal Sunday prayer until the footage was reviewed by the worker, and he got the shock of his life. Standing among the crowd was a figure that didn't belong. Pale face, red eyes, and an unsettling presence that stood out from everyone else. No one had noticed it at the time. Soon, the reality was revealed by the church. The figure was the spirit of a deceased nun whose body rested in the graveyard next to the church. On the recording, she looked just as she had in her final days, and her sudden presence left the church shaken. Some sights aren't meant to be seen twice. Stone blink. The poor quality of this video gave skeptics plenty of room to doubt, but the man who recorded it insisted it was real. At first, even he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Then, it happened. The stone eyelids of the statue slowly lifted. For a few seconds, it looked directly at him before gently closing again, returning to stillness. That brief moment was enough to shock him, and it left clear proof of something people had long debated. For those watching the footage later, it appeared as if Jesus had entered the statue, giving a silent sign of his presence. Children in church. A security guard was reviewing night vision footage of a church when he noticed something unusual. Earlier, he thought a group of kids had been accidentally locked inside. On the video, the children were running and playing quietly, just like normal kids. But as he watched more closely, he realized something was off. The kids had no faces, no features. Just faint outlines moving through the hall. That one moment made him realize these weren't ordinary children. They were ghosts. After that night, nobody saw the kids again. It seemed they were passing spirits, stopping only for a brief moment to play before disappearing into the shadows of the church. Wall climber. In Uganda, a church that was meant to offer protection became the setting of something truly unsettling. During an exorcism ritual, a young girl suddenly began acting in a horrifying way, completely beyond control. As the prayers grew louder, she moved toward a wall, then shocked everyone by climbing it, holding herself up as if gravity no longer existed. The room fell silent in fear. No one could explain what was happening. The video ended abruptly, leaving people scared. All that remains is the hope that the priest managed to stop whatever had taken hold. Unholy screams. It was a normal church service, and the priest had just started reciting verses from the Bible. Suddenly, terrifying screams echoed through the microphone. At first, everyone froze, thinking it might be a technical glitch or the choir, but no one made a sound.
El Señor esté con ustedes.
The children around the priest looked around, confused and scared. The noise didn't come from a person. It came from somewhere else entirely. The sound was sharp, angry, and seemed to react to the service itself. That night, the congregation realized something unsettling. Some forces can sense the sacred, and not all of them welcome it. That scream left a mark no one could forget. Weeping Mary. The villagers were stunned when a statue of the Virgin Mary seemed to cry real tears. At first, some thought water must have been leaking from somewhere nearby, but when they checked, there was no source of water. The tears were coming straight from the statue's eyes.
Una de las misas de la sanación de cáncer en su cara, que a través de la intercesión de esta niña santa.
Many believers saw something far deeper. To them, the tears were a sign of grief, mourning human suffering, injustice, or the decline of morality. Crowds gathered, prayers were said, and theories spread quickly. Was it just an unexplained miracle, or a message meant for the faithful? Which theory will you buy? Dark Watcher. During a late-night service in a small chapel, the congregation was fully focused on the preacher, unaware of what the security camera behind him captured. In the open doorway stood a tall, twisted figure, completely still, silently observing the service. Its form looked unnatural, with an inhuman face faintly visible in the shadows. The figure never moved. It remained frozen, as if testing the limits of the sacred space. Later, the priest explained that a real demon had been disturbed by the prayers and tried to enter the chapel, yet the holiness of the place kept it from stepping inside. Silent Nun. A local, curious despite repeated warnings from villagers, decided to enter an abandoned church. People had always said those who went inside never came back, but he ignored them. Inside, his flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing dusty benches and an eerie silence that grew heavier with each step. As he called out softly, a figure appeared, a nun sitting perfectly still, staring straight at him. The moment was frozen in time. That was the last anyone ever saw of him.
Hello?
He never returned. All that remained was the footage he had recorded, a chilling record that kept everyone away from the church ever since. Cursed house? Sometimes a cheap house comes with a hidden cost, and this woman learned it the hard way. On her very first night in the new home, everything felt quiet, until she heard a voice calling her to come outside her room. Confused, she stepped out and saw a chair sliding across the floor on its own. There was no one there. No wind, no open windows. Shaken, she later spoke to the neighbors and learned the truth. The house had a dark past. Many buyers had moved in, only to leave soon after. She was just the latest one to find out. Whispered help. Boys entered a church late at night after hearing rumors of strange activity once the doors were closed. Inside, the place felt quiet, but wrong. While exploring, they noticed a book left near the altar. It was not a Bible. The pages looked dark, filled with strange signs. As they looked through it, a clear voice suddenly whispered, "Help." That moment was enough to panic them.
But it's not.
The video ended right there. The next morning, police found only the phone near the church. The boys were gone. Later, locals revealed the church had been used at night by a false priest for dark worship. Soon after, the church was cleaned and blessed with prayers. Pew apparition. A man who wished to stay anonymous uploaded a video he claimed was filmed during a traditional Filipino night mass. At first, he was simply recording the priest, capturing the calm of the service. Everything seemed normal until he noticed something strange. Mid-sermon, he moved the camera and froze. Standing among the pews was a woman, but not like anyone there before. Her face was pale, her ears unusually long. She didn't blink, didn't move, and seemed completely separate from the congregation. The man realized it wasn't a living attendee. Whatever it was, it appeared to be a spirit banned from entering the church, silently observing the faithful from a distance. Holy movement. During a church ceremony in 2017, the priest stood at the altar, calmly reciting prayers, while people in the audience recorded the moment on their phones. Later, when the footage was reviewed, something incredible appeared. The statue of Jesus moved. Slowly, almost intentionally, the head shifted, positioned as if offering a blessing to the congregation. Everyone watching the video was stunned. For many, it was a rare sign of divine presence, a silent acknowledgement for those in the church that night. To me, it seemed like Jesus himself had come for a brief moment, recognizing the faith of those gathered. What do you think? Blessing or something more? Piano shadow. A group of teenagers decided to explore an abandoned church, said to be haunted for years. As they approached the door, they suddenly heard piano notes coming from inside.
I'm so scared. Oh no. Oh my god, turn the light, turn the light. Should we go out there?
It was strange. How could anyone be playing in a place like this? Their curiosity pushed them to enter. As they stepped inside, they saw a dark figure at the piano. At first, they thought it was a homeless person and decided to enter. The moment they came closer, things were pretty clear. It was a dark shadow with no face, no features.
God. The door's locked. The door's locked. What do we do? Oh my god. All right, go. Oh my god.
That sight was enough to scare them, and they ran for their lives. Some places aren't meant to be entered, and sometimes exploring comes with a price, and not every time you get a second life. Flying chairs. In 2009, a CCTV camera inside a storeroom captured something that still unsettles viewers. Just after midnight, the footage showed a room with chairs. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then an object suddenly fell from a table. One of the stacked chairs began to move on its own. Moments later, all the chairs burst forward at the same time, thrown across the room by an unseen force. The most terrifying part? In a final moment, everything lifted again before crashing down. Investigators, after reviewing the footage, pointed to poltergeist activity, possibly linked to a cursed object nearby. If that's true, the owner should figure out what it is before things get worse. Because once a spirit like this finds a place to linger, it doesn't just leave on its own. Public exorcism. Have you ever seen an exorcism on live TV? In the UK, a Tanzanian lady was brought to a priest after showing signs of possession. The priest began by sprinkling holy water on her face, calling for the spirit to leave in the name of Jesus. At first, nothing seemed to work. The spirit stayed, laughing, as if mocking the prayers.
Jesus Christ, let there be light. Come out of her in Jesus' name. What have you done to her life? This is not your body.
Everyone watching could feel the tension rise. Then, suddenly, the woman collapsed to the ground. In that exact moment, the spirit left her body completely. The priest helped her sit up, and she appeared calm again. Millions witnessed the event leave, and for many, it revived their belief in God. Grave Peak. During a quiet stroll through the churchyard in Esholt, UK, a man was admiring the old gravestones when he noticed something strange. A pale, ghostly head peeking from behind a wall. Curious, he stepped closer, but it vanished without a trace. The air seemed heavier, as if the spirit had simply melted into the surroundings. Scared, he left that place quickly, as he didn't want to carry the curse with him. That day, the man realized the churchyard held more than memories. It might still be a place where wandering spirits linger, unseen by most who pass through. Temple Spirit. Late one night, CCTV cameras at a quiet Thai temple captured something strange. A small baby-like figure appeared running across the grounds. It vanished from one spot and reappeared somewhere else in seconds, moving far too fast to be human. At first, people thought it might be a lost child, but the speed and sudden appearances didn't make sense. Locals later shared that temples often attract spirits, sometimes taking the form of children to move unnoticed. That night, it seemed a wandering spirit had chosen the temple as its temporary resting place, appearing and disappearing in ways that left the footage both eerie and unsettling. Corner Shadow. A new video surfaced showing a man visiting an old, abandoned church. As he walked inside, he noticed a dark shadow sitting quietly in one corner. It didn't move or react when he approached, and its head stayed perfectly still. Feeling uneasy, he quickly ended the recording and left the church. After the video went online, people couldn't stop speculating. Was it a djinn hiding in the abandoned building, or simply a homeless person claiming the church as a temporary home? It's up to you to make a move. Heaven Light. On April 10th, 2019, a few attendees were recording the service at the Vineyard Church of Anaheim when a later review revealed the impossible. A bright, angel-like figure was hovering above the worshippers, moving gracefully through the air.
There's something that they...
Oh, was that? Yeah.
It looked like a divine messenger had appeared that night to bless everyone in the room. After the clip spread online, people noticed something strange. The video was quietly removed from the church's official page, and staff avoided discussing it. The sudden silence only made the footage feel even more mysterious, leaving viewers to wonder what really happened that night. Sacred Mist. A group of tourists was visiting the historic St. Peter's Church in Drogheda, Ireland, when something unusual happened. While exploring, they noticed a white mist appear on the door. At first, they thought it was a trick of the light, but then it appeared a second time, clear and unexplainable.
This is the door of the cell in Newgate Prison.
Interesting figure. Interesting figure. Because...
Confused, they decided to record it and later uploaded the video online. People started speculating that it could be the ghost of St. Oliver Plunkett, whose spirit is said to still roam the church. It seems that some protectors continue their watch long after they are gone. If you ever find yourself in an ancient church, be careful when you look through a keyhole. You might find that something from the other side is waiting for you to look. Misty Walker. A church's CCTV captured something that left viewers stunned. The hall looked empty at first, calm and ordinary, but then a faint gray figure appeared near the holy icons. At first, it was hard to make out details, but soon the shape of a woman became clear, almost transparent, and moving slowly. She walked with purpose, stopping by the icons as if she could feel their presence. Every step seemed meaningful, deliberate. The moment lasted only seconds, but it was enough to make anyone wonder. Could these be interdimensional pilgrims, or souls returning for one last blessing from Jesus? What do you think? Let me know. Silent prayer. During a quiet afternoon inside a small church in Argentina, visitors noticed something unusual near the front altar. A stray dog had wandered in and stopped directly in front of a statue of the Virgin Mary. Instead of causing chaos, the dog stood still, staring up in complete silence. Moments later, it let out a few soft sounds and slowly lowered itself to the floor, refusing to leave. Witnesses said the atmosphere shifted, becoming strangely calm. Locals later identified the dog as Firulais, a familiar stray. Some believed he wasn't just resting, he had come seeking comfort in the only place that ever felt safe. Dark ritual. The church had been abandoned for years, yet for weeks, villagers kept hearing strange sounds coming from inside, even though no one ever went in. Worried, they asked the authorities to step in. Cameras were installed, and that's when everything changed. One night, the footage showed a lone man standing in the middle of the empty church. Moments later, a glowing light slowly rose from the floor beneath him. He didn't move. He stood still, almost like he was calling for something unseen. When a priest reviewed the footage, he claimed the man was performing a dark, satanic ritual. Soon after, the church was sealed by authorities. The man was never found, and whatever answered that call never showed itself again. Angel wings. During a quiet prayer at St. John Brebeuf Church in Niles, Illinois, something unexpected appeared on video. As worshippers gathered, a faint, flickering light showed up on the wall. Soon, it grew brighter and formed a very distinct shape. Large feathered wings became visible, as if a celestial figure had appeared in the room. People in the church watched silently, some whispering in awe, convinced it was a real angel standing among them. The light stayed in that shape for several moments, clear against the stone wall, before slowly fading away. The footage later spread online, leaving viewers to wonder if a divine presence had truly appeared that day. Balcony Reaper. A video from the Vatican has gone viral, but not for anything holy. During a routine service, cameras captured a tall, dark figure standing motionless on an upper balcony. Draped in a long, black cloak, the figure looked strikingly like the Grim Reaper, silently watching over the faithful below. Those in the crowd noticed immediately, pointing and whispering, but the figure didn't move, react, or vanish. When the footage spread online, viewers were split. Some thought it might have been staged or a trick of the light. Others believed something far stranger, that the Grim Reaper had appeared, waiting to claim the soul among the congregation. Whatever the reason, seeing something like that in a place meant for peace felt scary to me. Misty Cedar. During a crowded religious procession, worshippers were focused on prayer, unaware of anything unusual. Then a faint, mist-like figure appeared, sitting quietly among them. Unlike the people around it, the figure cast no shadow and moved in no way. It simply stayed there, unnoticed by the crowd. Some think it could have been the spirit of a devoted follower returning to a place of faith. Others believe it was a silent guardian, appearing only in sacred moments. Well, the footage showed that even in holy places, some spirits come to pray unseen. Praying wings. Locals in a small village recently captured a moment at their church that amazed everyone. In the video, a cockatoo spread its wings and bowed in front of a statue of the Virgin Mary, almost like it was praying. Soon after, another clip showed a pigeon doing the same at the church entrance. People watching were stunned.
He's a religious pigeon, this one.
It looked like even animals knew something special was there. Some say it was just a coincidence, but others think it was a sign that faith isn't just for humans. Sometimes, even the smallest creatures show love in their own way. Insect curse. No one expected a church to turn into a nightmare, but that's exactly what happened. A traveler walked in and froze. Every altar, bench, and even the sacred floor was crawling with insects. There were no open windows, no explanation for how they got there. The sight felt unnatural, almost like a warning. As the video spread online, viewers shivered, thinking it might be a dark omen. While to believers, swarms were the sign of punishments from the divine. Whether it was a strange natural event or something else, the image left everyone questioning what really happens when no one is watching. Glowing orbs. A high-quality security camera inside a church recorded something that didn't behave like light or dust. The room was empty and quiet when glowing orbs suddenly appeared near the altar. They hovered in place, completely still, as if observing the space around them. After a few seconds, the orbs began to shift slowly, then vanished without any fade or trail. It looked less like a glitch and more like something passing through. Staff later blamed a camera issue, but the movement felt controlled, almost deliberate. Some things don't enter churches loudly. They move through silently, leaving only light behind. Moving shadow. Late one night in Illinois, a man walking past St. Paul's Baptist Church suddenly slowed his steps. Something on the ground caught his attention. A shadow was moving beside him, stretching and shifting in an aggressive way, as if something unseen was pacing above.
Hey.
Startled, he looked up at the church roof, expecting to see a person or an animal. There was nothing there. The roof was empty and silent. Still, the shadow kept moving for a few more seconds before slowly fading away. Later, locals said this wasn't unusual. The church had long been linked to strange activity after dark, and many claimed to have experienced paranormal activities there.
Alright. Hey, I'm black. I'm gonna get out of here.
Window stalker. A photographer learned a hard lesson one night while hiking in a remote area. In the middle of nowhere, he came across a church that looked abandoned and decided to explore it. The second floor was dusty and broken, clearly unused for years. As he looked at old pictures hanging on the wall, something went wrong. He suddenly panicked and ran outside. Later, when the footage was slowed down, the reason became clear. A tall, thin figure was staring at him from a window. One frame earlier showed the same figure sitting quietly on a bench. Whatever it was, he didn't wait to find out. Phantom butler. Some old footage from 2003 has resurfaced, and it's leaving people talking again. That winter, security staff at Hampton Court Palace noticed something strange. A door near Clock Court kept flying open on its own. CCTV caught nothing at first, yet the door swung wide with force, over and over. The next day, the impossible happened. A tall figure wearing unusual clothing appeared on the screen. Calmly, it pulled the doors shut before disappearing. On the third day, the doors opened once more, but the figure never returned. Visitors later reported strange sightings in the same area. Whatever it was, ghost, spirit, or something else, it left a lasting mark on the palace's history. Funeral child. Late at night inside a funeral parlor, a security guard was finishing his final rounds before leaving. The halls were quiet, the lights dim, and nothing felt unusual at first. As he walked down one corridor, a small child suddenly passed behind him. Thinking a family member might still be inside, the guard turned around, but the child ran ahead and vanished into thin air. Shaken, he rushed to the CCTV room and replayed the footage. That's when the detail hit him hard. The child on camera looked exactly like the one whose funeral had taken place there just hours earlier. No one else had been inside the building. Some spirits, it seems, don't leave right away, especially when they don't know they're already gone. Grave child. A church was under construction when a worker heard a child's voice calling from behind him. Thinking a kid had wandered inside, he turned around, but no one was there. The place was empty. Confused, he later checked the CCTV footage. That's when he froze. Right behind him stood a child wearing a school uniform, facing away from the camera. The workers swore no child had been inside that day. The story didn't end there. Locals later revealed the truth. The church was being built over land that once served as a graveyard. It seemed clear then. Even when a holy place is built, some spirits refuse to leave their place. Knock response. A team of paranormal investigators entered a church late at night, hoping to document the strange activity reported there. The building was silent, empty, and heavy with tension. As they set up their cameras, one of them noticed a faint, ghostly figure near the back of the church.
No hay nada. No. No hay nada, está cerrado, hay paredes. Ay, hijo de su perro. Juanita.
Trying to stay calm, the team began to pray and asked for a clear sign of any presence. Suddenly, a loud knock echoed through the room and was caught clearly on camera. It felt like a response, not an attack. The team left safely, but the moment proved one thing. Not every spirit is friendly, yet it's never wise to test what you don't understand. Open discussion. An officer was sent to check a church after reports that someone had entered without permission. When he went inside, he saw a man near the altar. The church was closed, and no one was supposed to be there.
Because I'm Jesus.
The officer asked him to leave, but the man did not respond normally. Instead, he began acting strangely. He grabbed a cross and slowly laid down on the floor, refusing to let go. His behavior felt unnatural and unsettling. The officer quickly stepped in and managed to restrain him.
Hands behind your back, now.
Later, witnesses said the man appeared possessed and had to be taken under control. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.